Don't use
that anymore. Okay, so we have covered commands briefly in Spanish 1. However, you only covered one type of command. And as you can see up here, there are multiple types of commands. Jasmine, do you have a question?
Is it going to be like present this lesson, or is it going to be like...
Commands are not really a time frame. They're in the now. So, I mean, if you want to think about them, but it's present, but it's not present tense. They're just commands. They don't really fall under a time frame.
Are we going to be like studying more like preterite or like imperfect, or like is there going to be...
We will, but not right now. Yeah, we're going to kind of take a break from drilling preterite and imperfect for a little bit to do commands. Yes?
I must have blanked out when we were in this, but what's the difference between familiar and formal? Like, I get it, but like the to form and the status form is two different.
That is a really good question, Kristen. All right, so she said, what is the difference between a you familiar and a you formal command? You were taught it, but it's something that goes away along with some other stuff that isn't the most important. A familiar tone is used with someone that you know, someone that is your own age, and someone who you would use a first name basis with. A formal command would be given to someone who you would address as Mr. or Mrs., so like a teacher. Depending on families, different families are set up, different. But sometimes children will speak to their grandparents and their elders in the formal tone as well, especially the ones that they don't know very well at all. And then the last thing that comes to mind is if you are out and about in public and you have to talk to some people who you don't know, you would use the formal tone because you are unfamiliar with them. Does that make sense?
You're saying like, I don't know, like girl, like, so that'd be like formal, because I'm not really knowing what an example is. Like,
if you turn around and tell Delaney, be quiet, you're talking to someone that you know, and you would speak to her in the to form. If you say, Mrs. Summersheim, come here and help me. Come here would be a command, and you would put that in a formal tone. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The easiest way to look at it is with your students versus your teachers. That's a familiar formal group. And then after that, some things are subjective. Like, it's up to how, how some students will say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Some of you were raised that way. All right, so go ahead and put that in your title of your notes. Usted, ustedes commands, which are the formal commands. It tells you that a usted command is to tell someone respectfully to do something or not to do something. They don't have on there, but you guys should be able to tell me, since we just talked about it. What kind of command is a ustedes command? That's telling...
Formal?
Kind of.
Third person.
Okay, it's third person, but what does ustedes mean?
Plural.
Is it I? It is plural, but is it I? Is it you? Is it he, she? Is it we? Is it they? Is it
It's
you? All. Okay, so we're going to learn how to do a singular command and also a plural command. Okay? They're formed in a very similar fashion. Okay? All right. So, in order to form those types of commands, you guys have to follow 3 steps. And I'm serious in the 3 steps. You know how in math, when the teachers make you show your work? Okay. We're going to do a little bit of that in a very basic format. Because if you don't do the very first step, you're going to miss some things eventually. It may work out for you some of the time, but not all of the time. So,
Do you want to start that now?
yes, the very first thing you're going to do is go to the yo form of the present tense. So, my example verb is hablar, right?
Yeah.
I've got it in the yo form up there with an O ending. My step 2 is going to be to chop. Oh, I got to get rid of that. That covered up too much. To chop off the O. So then I just have the stem. And here's where the real fun comes in with step 3. We are going to add an ending, and we are going to call them the opposite vowel ending. The opposite comes from the infinitive, hablar. You have to know that that's an AR verb, and therefore the AR verbs are going to use A and N respectfully. The singular, right here, the A and the A, those are for usted. The plural are for ustedes.
So we're not using ellos anymore?
No, because you're talking to people directly, you all. So, if I want to tell my friend, talk to me, I say, actually not my friend. If I want to tell my group of friends, like, talk to me, tell me what I should do, give me some advice, I would say, hablen. If you want to tell your teacher to talk to you about your grade, hable conmigo, profesora. Speak with me, okay? We're going to do some more practice with these, but what you really need to focus on is that you cannot skip step 1. You have to go to the yo form. All right, here are some examples as to why you must go to the yo form. Check out probar up there.
Do we have to write all of them down?
You don't necessarily have to write them all down. You might just want to process right now.
Do what?
Probar is an AR verb, right? Okay, so what's an opposite vowel for AR verbs? E o N, right? E or EN. Those are my 2 endings. But I can't just chop off AR and slap on the opposite vowel. I have to go to the yo form. Why do I have to go to the yo form? There are stem changers, there are yo-go verbs, and we want to see those.
Yoga over?
Yo-go verbs like tango, it has go and it's yo form.
Yo.
Digo, tango, pongo, those are all yo-go verbs.
Yoga? You still do the tan here?
What's
Well, tenero would be different though. wouldn't it?
tener? 10 is going to be its positive 2. And it's usted, it's going to go to tanga.
Wait, you add the G?
Because you go to the yo form. Tango, chop the O, opposite vowel. These are not, what 10 is a positive 2 command. We're in positive usted command. Okay? All right, so probar up there. Probar, we get to see, oh, I didn't put that one on anymore. We get to see the stem change there. And the opposite vowel over here for an AR verb is an A or an N. The other 2 are not stem changers. Okay, so they give you some examples. Taste. Taste the tea. Pruebe el té. Eat. You all eat. Coman. And the last one, add more salt. Añada. Because añadir, IR verb. Opposite vowel is an A or an an. You all, you. With an N, it's a plural command to you all. Without, it's one person who you are not familiar or you're trying to be very respectful. All right, we're almost done. If I want to make it negative right now, this is the great part of these types right now. you can just throw a no in front and you can make it a negative. Don't add. No añada. For usted and ustedes commands.
So you can put don't taste it.
Yep, you can just say no pruebe el té, and it just changes it over from a positive to a negative. Don't taste the tea. Okay. Unfortunately, there are irregulars. What's the yo form of dar?
Doy.
Doy. Does that end in an O to chop off?
No, it ends with a Y.
Yeah, it's got that Y on there. So you need to memorize these, and they should make sense to you. Because when you go to the yo form of estar and see estoy, right away, red flags should be going off in your mind. And you should be thinking, okay, these are irregular. I'm almost out of time. But tonight, you're going to get started with this grammar. I'm only going to assign one page tonight just to get your feet wet and to figure out what's going on. But tonight, when you do your homework, you need to make sure you look at these and look down here. Cargars are verbs. They came up over here in our isimos. They come up again whenever we're putting our opposite vowel. Because look at buscar. Opposite vowel for an AR is an E, right? But what kind of sound would that C make if it just was B-U-S-C-E? Boo. Say. So we change it to boo. Skay. But do you have an accent? No, because that would be the preterite. And you don't want it to look like the preterite. So these guys will still need their changes, their spelling changes. All right. So tonight